What is going on, Diablo 2 fans? Dobrunsky here. In today's video, I want to do a comparison between the new nerfed Hydra and Blizzard. So they just recently introduced a new balance patch. I kind of want to use the word new very loosely because typically, in my eyes, balancing is sort of adjusting weaker kind of scale things, not just kind of nerfing everything, and that's pretty much what the patch was. Now, fortunately, Hydra still has a lot of good functionality with the casting delay removed, and it's honestly a good boss sniping character. So I know that you guys are going to probably say, well, it's not an accurate comparison test because you're not doing it in PVM. Well, I just wanted to kind of compare the clear speed times on only Mephisto specifically and see how much of an impact nerfing Hydra will have for a playthrough Sorcerer's character, because I was really excited with the fact that we could probably moat trick Meph with Hydras instead of Blizzard, just kind of shake the meta up a little bit, do something a tad bit different. So that's what this test is going to be. I'm going to be honest, I have a love-hate relationship with making these types of videos because a lot of the times you guys often sound off in the comment section below and you want like double blind tests or 50 average runs over time. I'm not doing that. I'm only going to be doing single runs. I don't have the time to average out 50 runs to do a perfect test, but this is static single player maps, and I'm going to compare the clear speed times of using Hydra only, and then Hydra with a lower resistance wand, and then Hydra with a lower res wand and spamming Fireball as support. And then I'm going to do the same with Blizzard. So it's going to be Blizzard only, and then Blizzard with a low resistance wand, and then Blizzard with a low res wand, and supplementing with Ice Blast. But this is only going to be targeting Mephisto, and at the end I'll compare the clear speed times between all 6 different individual tests, and we'll actually see for boss farming only if the nerfed Hydra made a difference. I just want to let you guys know that I did make a full entire video covering the new balance changes. I'll have it linked in the description below. I feel like it was a pretty honest take. If you guys are interested in what I had to say in regards to everything, I'll have that linked in the description below. Now, this character is pure budget for the most part, so I'm level 75, kind of entering Hell difficulty, and we will be farming Mephisto. In the gear, I have Spirit and a Crystal Sword, Lore for a helmet, Nokazan for an amulet, Stealth for body armor, Ancient's Pledge, random rare boots, 2 FCR rings, Mage Fist, and a random rare belt. And then on the offhand, I have my lower resistance wand. So now we'll jump to Mephisto and we'll start comparing the clear speed times. So this is going to be the Hydra portion of the test. I'm redoing it because the first initial make of this video, it was made aware that I didn't actually have the maximum number of Hydra heads every time. It's really difficult when you're moat tricking Mephisto hanging off the edge to make sure that you always have up to 6 casted, but I wanted to redo it to try and make sure it's as close as possible. Now, as far as the skill tree goes, it's very standard. So Cold is just 1 point into Frozen Armor, Lightning 1 into Static Field, TK, and Teleport. And then I maxed out Hydra, Fire Mastery, Fire Bolt, and Fireball with 1 hard point into Warmth and Enchant. So I'm going to redo this test. Again, it's going to be Hydra, no lower res, and then lower res and Hydra, and then lower res, Hydra, and Fireball. I'm going to do my best to try and make sure that I always have 6 up at the same time. Again, it's a little bit challenging, but instead of casting them on the other side with Mephisto, I'm going to cast them on the opposite side and try and make sure that we have 6. And again, timer will start the second that I cast a Hydra. That's 100% 6, because when I overcasted, 1 disappeared. And we'll do the same thing as soon as I... This is a little bit better of a test. I think we're going to see similar times to the previous one, though. There, as soon as I cast the last one, this one disappears. Okay, so that is with no lower res. Gonna repeat the exact same test, Hydras only, but using a low resistance wand. Okay, so the lower resistance is going to be introduced into this run. Again, I'm gonna do my best to make sure I have 6 Hydras up at all times, and I do think that this will be a pretty substantial change in damage output. So the timer will start as soon as I cast the Hydras. There, a couple disappear, I'm recasting, and then I'll repeat the same again. As soon as I see one disappear. Okay, so Mephisto died basically by the time the Hydras actually start to dissipate, so that was with the lower resistance Hydra only test. So I'll repeat this again using Fireball and Hydra, although I think it'll be difficult to perfectly have all 6 up at the same time. So the final test, lower resistance wand with the fireballs. I'm predicting this will definitely be faster than the previous iteration, which I didn't have the perfect number of Hydra heads up. Again, kind of showing that in the vacuum test, I think that Hydra with low res is probably a little bit better early on, but I still think the argument stands that it made about having CTA and not using a lower resistance wand, that I think in that case, with the negative res, Blizzard would ultimately be a better choice. But again, timer will go as soon as I cast the Hydras. Okay, Hydra started to disappear, and then I'll switch to Fireball. Okay, so that definitely is faster than Blizzard and using Ice Blast. Although again, you're required to use the low resistance charge. It's pretty much mandatory. So this is the Blizzard portion of the test. Again, similar to Hydra, I have the exact same gear. We're going to do Blizzard only, and then Blizzard with the lower res wand support, and then Blizzard, lower res wand, and Ice Blast support. So again, the gear is exactly the same, but as far as the skill tree goes, starting off with Fire, 1 hour point into Warmth, Lightning, 1 into Static, Telekinesis, and Teleport. Then for the Cold tree, 1 into Frozen Armor, and then I have 17 into Cold Mastery. That's usually kind of your standard starting point for general kind of non-infinity setups. You could go all the way up to negative 175 if you're only targeting Mephisto, but typically you don't really do that when you're moat tricking like early on with level 75 Sorceress. Then I have 1 point into Frost Nova, and then I maxed Blizzard, Ice Blast, Ice Bolt, and then I put remainder into Glacial Spike. The reason I went that order is to have a stronger Ice Blast, because it receives it only receives freeze length, from Glacial Spike. So Blizzard still receives damage synergies from Ice Blast. That's why I went that route, to have a stronger attack for a fair third portion of the test. But again, the timer will start as soon as I cast the first Blizzard, and my gut tells me this is going to be a little bit faster than Hydra, but we'll see. I think it depends on how many missed shards we get. And again, it's one of the reasons why I was kind of a little bit disappointed that they nerfed Hydra, because I just don't think it's faster than this for boss sniping. So I just don't think it was needed. So again, that was the first kill. So we'll repeat this again, but we'll use low resistance to even speed it up further. So this is the same test, except we're using Blizzard with low res support. My gut tells me that it's going to be even faster. Now again, he's not in the same spot. There's a little bit of variation here, but like I said, I'm not doing multiple tests. I think for the sake of the video, it's completely fine. But again, this is lower res, Blizzard support only, and the timer will start as second I cast Blizzard. So I think it was very close, maybe a hair slower, but that might have been the position that he was in here versus here, which we might have had a little bit of a difference in tests there. But again, I'm not going to do a million runs, but we'll repeat this again. Lower res one with Blizzard and Ice support, or Ice Blast support, and that one I feel like will definitely probably be the fastest. So the final test here, lower res one with Blizzard and Ice Blast support. My gut tells me before I compare the actual tests that this will be the fastest of all of them. And again, the timer will start the second I cast Blizzard. And timer ends. Okay, so let's wrap up. We'll do a full time comparison, and I'll actually see, or we can talk about if the nerfed Hydra was actually warranted. Okay, so with all the tests wrapped up, what did this video tell us? Now, obviously, there wasn't a perfect test. Like, there was some scenarios, like maybe the second one with Mephisto being in that center globe, might not have been perfect. He was missing a couple extra shards compared to being on the flat edge of the moat. Overall, though, I was pretty surprised with the performance of Hydra for boss farming specifically, even with the nerf. But that's in a vacuum test, because Hydra is definitely catered better towards single target boss sniping than it is general PVM. That's one of the things I was a little bit disappointed with, is the fact that general sort of magic finding, say like the Stony Tombs, Fireball is much faster than Hydra. But the fact that Hydra was able to match and even beat Blizzard for Mephisto was pretty impressive, I would say. A couple things to note about that though. is that it's absolutely mandatory to use a low resistance wand, like 100%. There's no questions asked. It would be kind of interesting to compare the clear speed once you have CTA, but my gut tells me that once you have a little bit better gear like Shaco, Arachnid's Mesh, CTA, that kind of thing, unless you want to mess around with throwing a low res wand in and out of your cube, at that point Blizzard would be faster. So I don't think Hydra's horrible, but I don't think necessarily that the nerf was justified, especially when you kind of take PVM into consideration. But that's kind of my overall thoughts, guys. Not necessarily the perfect test, and maybe using that low resistance wand was kind of cheating a bit, because once you get better offhand gear, you don't really want to use it anymore. And again, general PVM sort of magic finding, farming, like the Stony Tombs or the Icy Cellar, Fireball is much better than Hydra. So I still stand on the fence that I think Hydra should have been left alone. But again, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, if you agree or disagree, if you think it was a horrible test. Again, I'm not doing 50 average runs to make a perfect time video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought, and I'll catch you on the next video or live stream. Peace out.